Hello everyone and welcome back to another game of Marvel Zombies. This time we're playing another mission in Marvel Zombies Heroes Resistance. This is the smaller retail version of the game. I'm playing through this, Marvel Zombies, X-Men Resistance, the original Marvel Zombies, if I can ever get the painting done for that, and Zombicide First Edition. The Marvel Zombies I'm playing in sort of a loose campaign. Here are the self-imposed rules that I've set up for myself. Generally speaking, if a character dies, then I can't use them again. And for Zombie Heroes and Bystanders, I always want to have the decks contain at least 50% characters that I haven't seen before. If you're curious, here are the heroes in the campaign that we know are alive and dead. And here are the Bystanders that we've found so far. None of them have died yet. As is traditional for Zombicide games, I've got a real mix of models going on. I'm a slow painter. If I've got models from another source, I'm going to use those. So the heroes from this game are going to be the Incredible Hulk, the Amazing Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Vision, and of course those models are all the old metal Marvel Universe miniature games models from Night Models. Marvel Zombies Heroes Resistance uses card standees for a lot of the characters. For the zombies, I'm mostly going to be using the first edition Zombicide models. For the Bystanders, I'm going to be using the models from the Marvel Zombies core box. And since we're using zombie heroes from all the different Marvel Zombies games, those miniatures come from those games. But I've said all this before, I think that's good for now. The mission that we're playing today is M2 Escape Through Oscorp. This is the third mission in the Marvel Zombies Heroes Resistance game. It's reasonably straightforward as such things go. Our heroes are going to start in the center. The escape is in the top left. The issue is that the red doors can't be opened. We have to get into that big building on the left through the green door. We can't get in through the green door until we get the green key card, which is in the lower right. And we can't get to the lower right until we open up that blue door. And we can't open up the blue door until we get the blue key card, which is in the top right. So a little fetch quest, pretty typical for Zombicide. We've got the Avengers sign in the bottom center, which we can chuck at people if we feel like. We've got 3 spawn zones on the street, top, bottom, and to the right. And I'm a little worried about that big building on the left. That's a lot of spawn zones to activate when we open up that green door. But our heroes haven't had too many problems so far, so I don't see any reason to be too concerned about the zombie apocalypse, so let's begin. We're going to start out with the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. Each hero has 3 actions. We all gain a power at the start of the round. Hulk's special ability is that he has 5 health, and he gains an additional power for each wound that he's taken in the game. Nothing that affects us right now, but he does make a pretty good door opener. So he's going to spend his first action to move 1 zone to the right and then open up that door to the top right building. Let's not waste time. There are 2 spawn zones in that room, and I'm going to start with the top left. I always start with the one furthest from the door. That one gives us a 2 brute rush, so they're going to spawn and then immediately move into that larger room. And then we have to draw a spawn card for that large room as well, and we get a brute activation, which is fine, because you only give the brutes an extra activation if you are past the blue danger level, and all our characters are on the blue experience level, so those brutes can just stay right there. And then we get a Bystander in the top right room, and we get Mary Jane Watson. Very cool, haven't seen her before. Spider-Man will be pretty happy that she's still alive. Hulk has 1 more action, but I don't really see any point to having him move into that building. I'm going to have my other characters take care of that, so he's just going to power up, get 2 more power. That's going to bring us to Black Panther, our designated brute killer. He's going to spend his first 2 of 3 actions to move into that room with the brutes, and then he's going to attack, and he's going to use his special ability. He's got those vibranium claws so he can use hard slash. He can spend 1 power, so his 1 and only power that he has. But that reduces the toughness of any enemies he's attacking to 1, and he can re-roll any of his attack dice. He rolls 2 attack dice and he hits on 3s, so with all that he easily tears up those 2 brutes and gets himself 2 XP. That clears the way for Spider-Man to take his 3 actions to move into the zone with Mary Jane and the objective. Hey MJ. Finally, we've got Vision. I don't want Vision to move forward into that zone with the spawn zone, that's no good. He'll just hang out with Hulk. He will draw a heroic trait card, and because he has the blue ability Adaptive Strategy, he gets to draw 2 cards and choose 1. That doesn't help me too much because I end up drawing 2 unstoppable cards. So I can spend that card, I can spend a power, and any enemies I'm attacking are -1 toughness. So it's kind of like a low-powered version of Black Panther's Hard Slash. And then with a little else to do, I just power up, so 2 more power. Over to the zombie turn. No zombies on the board to move. Mary Jane doesn't need to move because she's right where she wants to be with her hero. And then we go over to the spawn phase. We're going to start with the number 1 spawn zone and move clockwise. So the number 1 spawn zone is in the south. There we get a 2 walker rush, so they spawn and move 1 zone up the street. We get a runner activation from the next spawn zone, which is fantastic. No runners on the board. We're in the blue zone. That's not going to make any difference at all, and it's good to have that card out of the way. And then to the right, we get a single runner. So back to the heroes, and this time I'm going to start with Vision. I need to clear out that runner before I go attack that building in the lower right. So Vision's going to go and zap that runner with his solar beam. He rolls 3 dice, needing a 4+, misses completely. Kind of disappointing, Mr. Vision. I'm going to try it again. This time I'm going to spend a power. So now I'm rolling 4 dice, looking for a 4+. This time I get it. I've only got 1 action left. I don't want to end up on that spawn zone, so I'm going to draw another heroic trait. Again, I get to draw 2. I pick up Tenacious and Determined. I choose Determined. I can lose the card into power to make a free attack action. Now we're over to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's going to take the blue objective, which gives him 5 XP. He's also going to rescue Mary Jane, which fills up his power bar. Mary Jane's very inspirational. After attacking, I can spend 1 power to re-roll all my dice. That's a pretty good ability for Spider-Man to have. I've got 1 more action, I just use it to move to the south with Black Panther. So now we're back to the Hulk. Hulk is on door opening duties this day. So we're going to move him 1 zone onto that spawn zone, and he is going to bash open that blue door now that we have the code for it. I personally think Hulk probably could have bashed that door open all on his own, but whatever. We got 2 spawn zones in here, so starting from the furthest back, we get ourselves 4 walkers, which is kind of a lot, but they're far away. It doesn't bother me too much. And then we get a zombie hero. Uh-oh, they're kind of close, and I don't have that many activations left. We get Zombie Scarlet Witch. That's a new one. It's kind of disappointing. Zombie Scarlet Witch has been in the Zombie Hero deck this entire time. I was kind of hoping we wouldn't have to draw it and we'd find out she's still alive somewhere, but not to be. Zombie Scarlet Witch has 3 health, and any hero in her zone has to re-roll all successful hits. Not only that, she's right next door to a bystander. We draw a card to see who that is, and we get Agent Coulson. So if I let things stand where they are on the zombie phase, Scarlet Witch is going to move into the zone with Agent Coulson and eat him. He is a combat bystander. He can defend against that on a 5+, but I don't want to take my chances on that. Hulk's got to use his last action to move into that room and put a big wall of green flesh between Zombie Scarlet Witch and her victim. So now we're over to Black Panther for the last character in the hero's turn, and Black Panther's going to move 2 zones and end up on the spawn zone. I honestly don't know what I was thinking here. This is just insane. Yes, I know I'm in the blue experience level, and this is the last spawn point, so there's no way that zombies can spawn here and then get an extra activation card. I'm pretty sure my thinking is that I'm going to move into this spot, and then I'm going to power up, which is what I do for my 3rd action, and the idea is the next round I'm going to jump in there, and I'm going to have all this power to try and take out Scarlet Witch. But I'm taking a big chance here. I don't think I took into account rush cards. If that last spawn point gets a 3-walker rush card, 3 walkers are going to immediately show up and just tear T'Challa to pieces immediately. This is an unnecessary risk that I took, and I should have moved him into the zone with Hulk. So now we're on to the zombie turn. The walkers on the street continue to move up into the middle of the board. The 4 walkers in that room in the bottom right split up, 2 going to the north, 2 going to the east, trying to outflank Hulk and Coulson. And Zombie Scarlet Witch, of course, moves into Hulk and Coulson's zone, and because zombie heroes get 2 actions per activation, she now gets to attack them. I take the hit with the Hulk. If he wasn't angry before, he is now. Over to the spawn phase, in the south, we get 4 more walkers. In the north, we get a single brute who rushes. And then in the east, this is the important one, we get a zombie hero. Uh-oh. On the plus side, Black Panther didn't immediately die because of my dumb placement, but on the downside, we get Zombie Iron Man again. Zombie Iron Man with his 4 health and ranged attack. Okay, never mind. Black Panther is not moving into the zone to help out Hulk and Coulson. He's got to deal with Tony Stark. So might as well start with that. Black Panther has full power, so we're going to attack with a hard slash for 1 power and spending 3 more power for 3 extra dice. So I'm rolling 5 dice, hitting on 3s with the reroll, and Tony Stark is down to toughness 3. Yeah, those vibranium claws make short work of the Iron Man suit, and zombie Tony Stark is down. Black Panther grabs 4 experience, putting him up to 6, just shy of the yellow experience level. Black Panther has 2 more actions. He can move into the zone with Hulk and Coulson, which he should have done last round, but he's not going to be able to hurt Scarlet Witch with just 2 attacks, so he spends his last action powering up. So Vision's up next, and he hates to do it, but he's got to be the one to take out Wanda Maximoff. Oh, the tragedy of it. Sort of a reverse Infinity War situation. So his first action is to move 1 zone, then he's going to attack the zone with Scarlet Witch. He's going to use the card Unstoppable for 1 power, so she's down to 2 health. And he's going to spend 3 more power to get 3 more dice, attacking with 6 dice, needing 4 pluses to hit. Doesn't have to reroll them because it's not in Scarlet Witch's zone. Needs at least 2 hits, and he gets it. Vision wins, but does he really? gets himself 3 XP, and then moves into that very crowded room with the rest of his friends. Hulk is up next, and with Scarlet Witch down, he's got to take out his rage on these walkers. Moves 1 zone to the left. He's going to throw an attack. His Gamma Rage rolls 3 dice and hits on 4+. He's going to spend 2 more power to add 2 more dice. Easily crushes the 2 walkers in that room, and then he moves back to the room on the right with all his friends. And because it's not crowded enough in here, Spider-Man's going to use all 3 actions to move 3 spaces to join everybody. So zombie turn, and by now there's a big crowd of zombies moving down the city streets that we're going to have to deal with. The 2 zombies in the room on the far bottom right move into our zone. Not a lot of elbow room in here anymore. And for spawns, we get 2 brutes in the south, 1 brute in the north, and a single runner in the east. Okay, we're going to start with Hulk. Hulk's generating a lot of power these days because he took that 1 wound, so every round he's getting 2. He's going to stomp up and down on these 2 walkers in his zone. He's going to attack with Gamma Rage, and he's going to spend 3 power just because he has it, and he's going to roll 3 more dice. Yeah, that squishes the 2 walkers. Spends his next action to move to that room in the bottom right and takes the objective. So we got the last key card. Hulk gets himself another 5 XP, which pushes him into the yellow experience level. That gives him a 4th action, which he uses to move back into that crowded room. Now we're going to send Black Panther out to clear a path. He's going to move 1 zone to the north onto that spawn zone. There's a runner right there, so he's going to attack, and yeah, he's going to spend a power to use Hard Slash again. It doesn't reduce the runner's toughness, but it does give me rerolls. That does guarantee the kill. That puts Black Panther into the yellow, so now he gets a 4th action. Nice that all my guys are leveling up at around the same time. Next action is to move into the zone on the left with those 2 walkers. Yeah, I could attack them, but I think my other characters can take them out, and I'd like to get them up to the yellow experience level as well, so I'm just going to draw a heroic trait and I get Dash. When I spend the Dash card, I can spend any amount of power to move that many extra zones. Panthers are pretty fast, that makes sense. Okay, Spider-Man, I saved these 2 walkers for you. He's activating next. He's going to move 2 zones for his first 2 actions. He's going to attack with +2 dice, meaning he's rolling 5 dice with a 4+ to hit. The Way of the Spider kills off those 2 walkers. That puts him in the yellow experience level. He gets his 4th action, which I do not see the need to run into that next zone with all those walkers and the brute. So I'm going to draw a heroic trait and I get Resourceful. Resourceful gives my attacks +1 range, so get those impact webbing going. Finally, we got Vision. Don't worry, Agent Coulson, we haven't forgot about you. He's going to rescue the good agent, gets himself full power. Agent Coulson allows Vision to, once per turn, spend 1 power to gain a free ranged attack. Vision needed to be the guy to rescue him because he's the only one with a ranged attack. That works out pretty well because Vision can use his next 2 actions to move 2 zones into the street area with everybody else, and then he can spend a power to use that Coulson ability. Gets a free energy beam attack. I'm going to spend 2 more power to roll 2 more dice. I end up with 3 hits, which kills off the brute and walker. That's a good start, but I'm still in the blue experience level, so I'm going to use my Determined card, spend a power, get an extra attack action, use it to zap that zone again. This time I kill 2 walkers, give myself 2 more experience points. That puts me in the yellow. Gives me a whole nother action, which I use to attack that zone again, kills off the last walker. I don't hate it. Over to the bad guys, the zombies go. We've got 3 brutes on the board, and they close in from either end of the street. Over to the spawn phase, we're now in the yellow. In the south, we get 3 runners. Uh-oh, could be a problem. In the north, we get Bystander in danger. So Okoye shows up again, doesn't want to be left out of the fun, and we would activate all walkers within range 1. There are none, so no problem there. This Bystander is in less danger than you would think. And then closing in on my heroes from behind, over on the right, we get 3 more runners. All the runners coming out to play now. Back to the good guys, we're going to start with Hulk again. Hulk is still in that building in the bottom right. He needs to get out of there. Moves 1 zone up into that zone with all the runners. He's going to attack. He's going to spend an extra 3 dice, giving him 6 dice on a 4+. These runners can't run fast enough. Hulk smashes them all, spends his next 2 actions to move into the center of the board. I'm then going to activate Vision. Vision's first action is to move into the center of the board with Hulk. Then he's going to move into the zone with the 2 brutes immediately south. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I want to take a shot at those runners. I'm really worried about them. So he attacks with just his basic 3 dice and he misses completely. Not what I wanted. I'm going to use Coulson's ability, spend a power to get a free ranged attack. This time I shoot and I get all hits. So from all misses to all hits, works out I suppose. Kills off all 3 runners. Good job. I'm going to save these brutes for someone else. Vision's just going to power up. Spider-Man's going to move twice to the center of the board and then up to the north to the zone with that 1 brute. He's going to attack that zone, spending 1 power for +1 dice, and he manages to kill the brute. Nice job. And then he's going to use his special ability for the first time, Heroic Rescue. He's going to spend 1 power, and he's going to web Okoye and bring her 1 zone down into his zone. But he's not going to rescue her. He's already got Mary Jane. Black Panther's on his way. He's going to spend his last action to move into the center. So it's Black Panther's turn. He is going to move, and he's going to spend 1 power with the card Dash to move 1 extra zone, end up in the zone with Okoye. He's going to rescue her, bring himself up to full power. Okoye is a good card to have with Black Panther. You can spend 1 power and get a free melee attack with her. My final 2 actions are to move south 2 zones into the area with the 2 brutes, and then I'm going to spend a power to activate Okoye. I'm also going to spend a power to activate Hard Slash, free melee attack, -1 toughness on the brutes, rerolls all that, kills both of them. Everything's coming up Avengers. So that was a pretty successful turn. We've moved further on, we've rescued all the bystanders so far, we've killed off all the zombies on the street, we're going straight on to the zombie spawn phase. In the south, we get another 4 walkers. In the north, we get a zombie hero activation. Perfect, no zombie heroes on the board. And in the east, we get a 2 brute rush. Okay, here's the deal. I know there's a bunch of zombies wandering around on the streets, but I want to open up that big building. I'm kind of worried about it because it's really long, and at the far end there's a bystander, and I want to be able to get to any zombies that might eat the bystander. So Black Panther is right in front of the door. We've got the objective which allows us to open it. Cracks that thing open. We're going to spawn from the farthest end to the closest. The first zone gives us a bystander in danger again. Okay, that could be worse. No monsters and there's no walkers to activate. We get Sharon Carter again. The bad thing is that then we go to the room right next door to hers and we get a 5 walker rush. So 5 walkers spawn and immediately stampede into the zone with Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter's a combat bystander, but 5 walkers is a lot and they're really far away from me. I'm not sure how likely it is that I'm going to be able to get to her. The next spawn zone in the conference room is 2 runners, which isn't great. And then right in front of me, I get 5 walkers. Oh, that's a big wall of dead flesh to get through to try and rescue all these people. Speaking of people to rescue, at the very far end of the building, right next to the room with all those walkers and Sharon Carter, we get Blind Al. And right next to the 2 runners, we get Hydra Bob. So again, Hydra Bob is right next to those 2 runners, and they're going to move in and eat them in the next round. Our heroes have a lot to do and not much time to do it. Fortunately, Black Panther still has 3 more actions. He's going to move into that room with all of those walkers. He's going to use Hard Slash with an extra 3 dice, so he's rolling 5 dice for attack, and he gets to re-roll them, hitting them on a 3+. Black Panther pulls through for me. He kills off all 5 walkers. That is a big deal. He uses his last action to move into the room with Bob. Now when the runners come in, if T'Challa really wants to, he can take the hits for Bob, Agent of Hydra. Is that a good trade? I don't know, but heroes, what can you do? Okay, Vision is up next, and I think our priority has to be to kill off all the walkers surrounding Sharon Carter. So he has to float like he's never floated before. He's using 3 actions to move 3 zones to get outside that room. He's going to spend 3 of his 4 power to attack with +3 dice. That's 6 dice hitting on a 4+, but he only kills 2 of them. Okay, that's why we saved our 1 power. We're going to use Agent Coulson. We're going to get another attack action, and we're going to shoot, and we're only going to kill 1 more. That's still 2 walkers left there. It's still looking kind of dicey. That's okay, I got 1 more trick I can pull. I'm going to activate Spider-Man. Spider-Man is going to move all 4 zones, going to end up in the room with Vision, and he's going to use Heroic Rescue. Spend 1 power, get Sharon Carter out of that room, pull him into our zone. Not exactly the ideal situation, but we're improvising here. Finally, we've got the Hulk. Hulk is going to do what he's been doing this game. He's going to move 3 zones into the room with a bystander. Just act as a blade of armor for these guys. I don't draw a heroic trait because I don't want to risk drawing an ambush, a zombie card, and getting an extra walker in our zone. That could be really bad. No reason to power up because I'm just going to be at full power next round anyway. Alright zombies, what you got? So sure enough, the runners move to the south and they attack twice. They're going to bite Hulk twice. He's down to just 2 wounds remaining, but boy is he mad. Up in the north end of that building, 1 walker goes into the room with Blind Al. The other one goes into the room with Spider-Man, Vision, and their assorted bystanders. The zombies on the street close in on the door that we just ran into, and we're over to the zombie spawn phase. I have done okay. My heroes are still alive. Most of them are pretty healthy. And I've managed to rescue all the bystanders so long as we don't get a walker activation. But I do. My very first card is a Walker activation. That means a Walker in the zone with Spider-Man, and Vision gets an attack and it bites Vision, so he loses 1 wound, and worst of all, poor Blind Al is devoured. Oh, I painted her model and everything for this game, and now I don't get to use her again. Blind Al, what were you doing, hanging out in Oscorp all alone during a zombie apocalypse? I'm so sorry. Her ability was good, too. If you have Blind Al with you when you're attacked, then you can spend 1 power and you can ignore the wound on a 3+. And now I can't use her for the rest of the campaign. So now all my heroes have to lose a power. Hulk and Spider-Man are the only ones with power lying around. Spider-Man is also the only one with a heroic trait to lose, so he loses Resourceful. For the remaining 2 spawns, we get 2 Brutes in the north and 3 Walkers in the east. And sadly, we move on. Spider-Man is going first. He's going to beat up the 1 Walker in his zone. He's going to move 1 zone to the left. He's going to open the door to the exit, move to the north, and leave with Mary Jane. Black Panther is next. He's just going to do a regular attack. He's going to save his power to activate Okoye if he needs to. Doesn't need to. Kills the 2 runners with his 2 attacks. Sprints 3 zones to the north and leaves as well. Bruce Banner is next. He rescues Hydra Bob, gets full power. He's got a new green friend to hang out with, moves 3 zones north, gets out the exit. And finally, we have Vision. Vision, you have a job to do. First off, you're going to rescue Agent Carter. Agent Carter's pretty good for Vision. You can spend a power to re-roll any dice for a ranged attack, but I like Agent Coulson slightly better, so I'm going to stick with him. Vision's going to move 1 zone to the north. I'm going to spend 1 power and an extra 3 dice to vaporize that lousy zombie to the north that ate Blind Al. Free range attack, 6 dice, needing a 4+. I absolutely incinerate her, but it's all too late. I move 2 more zones to the exit, I get to leave. We've won the scenario, oh, but at what cost? We lost our first bystander. I think from here, the games are going to be harder. We're going to lose people. This was our last easy scenario. It's going to be mediums and hards from here on out. I know I shouldn't complain. My guys did real well. We were successful, but I'm sad. I really like Blind Al in the Deadpool movies. But that's it for now. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, observations, or concerns, you can leave them in the comment section below. I'll see you on the next one.